everyone. Welcome back to Third Shot Podcast. As we always ask, please go to our social media on Instagram and Facebook and add us, follow us, do all the things at Third Shot Podcast. Go on to X and follow us there at Third Shot Pod and find us on our website, thirdshotpodcast.com, where we have some great apparel, blog posts, and all of our previous episodes so you can get caught up and re-listen to the ones that are your favorite. We got our shots lined up and we're ready to kick this thing off.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Oh, life is just going by so fast, and I've got some wedding planning that's still happening. It's like all of my free time is just spent like organizing details and making decisions and buying all kinds of things nonstop.
Well, you're not only planning the wedding, but we got holiday season too.
Yes.
So you probably have a lot going on.
Yeah, 'tis the season, I suppose.
A little extra though this year with the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. But we've got such a strong family and I've got a lot of friends here and everything. So it's all been very helpful to have the support.
Yeah, it's all about family and relationships this time of the year. How about you,
Yeah.
Russ?
I'm not planning a wedding. No.
No, I thought you were planning Brigie's wedding. No?
No, I'm out of
You
that
said
business.
you're a DJ.
I did do the DJ thing and all the day of coordination stuff for years. And yeah, it's a lot of work. There's
Well,
a
I
lot
know
going
you
on.
probably heard this, but
What's
I
that?
already committed for you to do juggling at the wedding reception.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can do that.
So we need pickleball paddles and a pickleball and maybe a raw pickle. Those are
Ooh,
the three things you have to
okay.
juggle at the same time.
I like it. Actually thinking about it, I've never thought about this, but the pickleball paddles would be kind of fun to juggle because
Okay.
the weight of them and you have to spin them while you're doing it and not hit yourself in the face.
Well, I've seen you
That
do
would
the
be,
bowling pins, so you can probably do the
Yeah.
paddles.
Okay, well, I've got 3 of them. I'll give it a shot later. I'll let you know how it goes.
Can
If
you
I'm not on the
record
next
it
show, you know
for us?
why.
Well, you can't get it right until the third shot.
Yeah, I don't know if drinking and juggling go well together. That could be highly problematic.
Russ, I was curious. We were talking about Bridgie's wedding and everything. You've been married for how many years now?
Oh man, a few.
A few years. A few years.
No, so actually, it's really easy to remember because it's my daughter plus 1, so 19. So I just
That is a good way to remember.
add 1, and there you go. So it is actually easy to remember. I'm not going to get in trouble like the other guys that forget.
How did you guys meet? I don't think I ever asked you this question.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we've not talked about this. We met at work, which I guess is no longer okay to do. But yeah, we met at work back in the in the 90s, mid 90s. We were both working in radio.
Was it at the radio station?
Yeah. A good old K101, and
K101.
because it was radio, sort of a gossip mill. We try to keep it quiet. And actually, as we first started dating, we went to this park that was nowhere near, the radio station was in San Francisco. We were out in San Mateo, and we're walking through the park holding hands. And who do we see but one of the sales managers?
No way.
Like, just randomly walking into the park. It's like, oh, you guys are. Oh, he was like total surfer dude too. Like, this is like if you're not from California and you want to do the stereotypical Californian, this is your guy. But it's like, oh man, I didn't know. Oh, this is wild, man. Oh, this is crazy. Like, just totally getting into it. So that's how we got outed as a couple after that. How about you guys? Didn't you meet at work as well, or no? How did you guys meet?
Yeah. We met at work. We actually worked together for 3 years before we ever started dating. We were both we were in relationships, so we became very good friends, which I think really helped that we became such close friends before we decided to start dating. And like, I don't know if that's the reason why, but as soon as we started dating, I immediately knew she was the one. Like
Aw.
it was almost immediate for me. In fact, now that I'm thinking back on this, in fact, I remember this moment that, we were together, and I don't know, there might have been some kissing going on. I don't know. But anyway, we were together, and you have that moment where you messed up because I said, I love you. And then I'm like, oh, that's too early. It's too early for me to say that. I know I shouldn't say I love you when you do this.
What a save.
And I knew by her
Nice.
face she knew exactly what I would try to cover up on. I'm like, but it was so I knew I was in love with her. This was very early on. We landed up moving in together very quickly because it was just so right.
Hmm.
I just knew it. I think because we knew each other so well prior, it definitely helped things go along, get along there. So anyway,
You're sort of taking me back to my I was producer for Lovers Only show. That's
oh
what it was
yeah,
called.
I remember that show.
And we would get these people to call in. So being in front of a microphone, hearing somebody talk about their love story, is taking me back to the old days there.
What is Lovers Only?
It was called For Lovers Only, and it was
Oh.
so hosted by Lisa St. Regis, who's an awesome person. She's still working in radio, and basically I would sit there and I would take in the calls, screen the calls, and then kind of prep people for going on the radio to give their dedication to Lisa. So they would pick a song, and then I would kind of be interviewing. Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, talk about that part, talk about that, because that'll really make Lisa happy to hear that, or that, this. Oh yeah, talk about whatever. And so I would line up the calls, get them all excited, and then they would go on the air and tell their little
Now,
story.
were they
And then,
going on the air live and telling their story, or was there any editing going on?
ton of editing. So
Really?
they would tell their story, and then usually, we take out the yeah, well, we met, and I met her brother too, and he was kind of a jerk, and so I didn't really like him. So like, okay, let's take out and we met, and like, let's take out the part about the brother being a jerk. That doesn't really.
So how
It's
much
not going to
time
get
did
this
you
guy
have?
points.
Yeah, how much time
But
did you
we
have
take
to
out
edit
the
before
edit stuff.
you went on?
What's that?
How much time did you have to edit? Because you had to edit it, and then you had to like play it, and then you had to have the song that coordinated with that, and let
Yeah,
Lisa
yeah,
know all
in
this.
minutes. It's like record the call, edit, move on, and at the same time you're hearing other people's stories coming in too for the next one. So you're kind of doing multitasking there. And this also this will take me back in the old days. I would it was actually like physical media, so you're recording to tape and you're slicing it and taping it back together to cut out the various things. So you're actually using a reel to reel to do this, not like a computer that could quickly edit. So you're having to edit something with a razor blade. You're getting lots of cuts, and getting all that set up, and then you accidentally cut something out, and you're like on the floor picking stuff up and rubbing it against the tape head to try to figure out if that's the right thing, and
No
doing this
way.
all while a song is playing, and then going on and going on to the next song. It was
Life as a producer
chaotic
has
but
gotten
fun.
much easier, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, towards the end of my I mean, and this is just a couple of years later, when I left radio, that's when they went all digital and had the easy edits where they can edit quickly, and it was just like, yeah, it was a life changer. It was so much easier to do that. Okay, so I'm thinking though nowadays, right? Like, because even back then I would hear a lot of people meeting at work. And by the way, let me just change the background here. There we go. It's like our Valentine's Day episode, I guess. But people would meet at work. Now so many people work from home. I guess online is the way to go, right? And isn't that how what happened with you, Brigie, and your fiance?
Yes, it's a modern day romance where we met through a dating app. So I think that is a kind of the new norm with just, everyone's work lives are so different. Well, especially in Vegas too, I think there's so many different work schedules and kind of lifestyles out here that The
Mhm.
apps are really popular as far as meeting somebody. But we met on Hinge, which is similar to all the other ones where you swipe and stuff. And we matched and we went on our first date to a place called Magic Noodle.
Oh,
I
I
guess
love
it
magic
was
noodle.
magical.
So
Nice.
I got asked because I talked to a lot of people that, do the dating apps and they've met people on dating apps, but they also tell me horror stories where like they see a profile, they say, okay, let's go out and stuff like that. Then they get to the date and it's like either they look nothing like their picture or their personalities are nothing like they say they are. Did you experience that?
Oh my gosh. We could probably host a 60-minute episode of me telling dating stories from before I met my partner right now. So, yeah, there was one, just to give you a snippet of what dating in Las Vegas is like. Um, an instance like that where he didn't look like his pictures, or he lied about his height. So when he showed
Oh,
up, he was shorter than me. I'm 5'4", so he must have been like 5'2" or 5'3". And he was missing a tooth, like one of, not like the tooth, not like a front one, but like very close to it, like the one off to the side. And that wasn't in his pictures or anything either. So I was a little bit like taken aback, like, oh, when you see him, you just kind of have to. And I was trying to like make sure my face wasn't being mean because I was a little bit shocked because I wasn't expecting it. Not that there's anything wrong with missing teeth. I just was not expecting it.
Right.
So yeah, that one didn't work out. But
did you ever meet anybody that their personality was totally different than what you thought it was going to be based on like the prep? Like, you're looking at their profile, plus you probably talk a little bit on the phone or whatever before. Was there somebody that was just completely, or did you not maybe not talk to anybody on the phone, just go meet them for the first time and then like, oh my gosh, you are so different than I thought?
It happens a lot because I think with being online, you have the time to kind of filter what to say and to think about how to react and phrase things in a certain way. So I would say that's very common when you meet up with somebody and their personalities don't really match the vibe that you were getting from being online with them. So I did try to like switch to like a phone call, at least one phone call before meeting up with the person so that I could actually hear and make sure that they're a person, or FaceTime them so you can see that they're actually who they say they are before meeting up with them. But some people didn't like that either. Like I probably weirded out a bunch of people by asking them to FaceTime me because they're like, "Oh, why? Like we're gonna go meet up." And I was like, "Just want to make sure that you're like the person that you're saying you are." So it's a wild thing to be on the apps, especially in Las Vegas, I think, because
Right.
oh my gosh, people coming into town wanting certain things, and
Oh,
I see a lot of couples on there like asking for like somebody to go on a date with them as like a third.
Okay.
Crazy out there. I'm so happy to not be on those apps
Wow.
anymore.
Russ, if you weren't married, would you go on a dating app now?
I I it's like I did a podcast on the whole dating app thing, and I've known people that have, you know, found people that way, like Brigie and a few others, and I just I don't know. I feel like you know what it's like? It's like Canva. Like you got to go on Canva. You got to learn it a little bit first before before you show your design to somebody else. I'd probably want to research a little bit first before I would use it. And there's so many of them. There's like all these
Yeah.
different things. Like I've heard of the Hinge,
Mhm.
um, and I don't know. There's like Bumble or something, and there's like all these different like these things that are coming out. Like the person I was interviewing just threw out like this long list. How did you pick, and did you go around and do different apps? Like like did you just, so you tried like several, you had profiles on like multiple apps?
Yeah, so there are a few different ones, and you're correct. You do need to do your research as far as to like which one you should probably be using or like test it out for a little bit because each one kind of has like an underlying uh like a hidden like these are the types of people on this one. Like Tinder is meant more for like short-term hookups, and there's just like a common understanding like if you that's what you're looking for, that's like the one that you use. Whereas like that's why I gravitated towards Hinge because that one was more geared towards relationships, and then there's like different types of people using different apps. So switching from like Bumble to Hinge, you'd see like a different type of demographic. So
Hmm. Now,
it's a lot of work.
did you change your profiles on the various apps like based on like
No,
what you would see, or it was just the same profile and all?
it was well, they're all kind of set up separate. But photos wise, I would pick like I had probably like 10 pictures that I would choose from to rotate through. But each one like prompts you differently. So one you have to like come up with a bio on yourself on your own, where like Hinge, there's like prompts to kind of help people
Hmm.
answer questions about themselves.
Did
Gosh.
you have one of the photos? Was it you holding a big fish? Because I hear that's the thing, right? Big fish
Yeah,
photo.
it's the shirtless pic for guys with the holding a fish.
Right. Right.
That's always
Or a
on there.
cat, right? Or a cat.
Yeah, some sort of
That, oh,
animal.
okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
gotta have a little puppy or a cat, and then yeah, you find out they're allergic to cats.
Right. All over right there. That's
I
got
would be
swipe.
holding a pickleball paddle. If
Yes.
I were to do it nowadays, I would hold a
Yeah.
pickleball paddle.
You want to show your interest.
Well, I would think that, part of the whole screening thing is to try to look through and see if you can find somebody with a similar interest, right?
Exactly.
Like that would be helpful. And me being so into pickleball nowadays, I would want to hold a pickleball and then have people reach out to me that like that pickleball aspect of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the pickleball lovers out there, we have the perfect guest for you today because there is a new website and app called Pickleball Dating, just for people like, well, if I weren't married, people like me that want to meet like minded people that love to play pickleball. So after you go and subscribe to this show on YouTube or Spotify or Apple or any of the platforms that we are on and you're listening to right now, we will bring our special guest, Jyl Steinback. She is the founder of Pickleball Dating. Welcome, Jyl, to Third Shot Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. This is so fun, and it is all about pickleball.
That's right.
Absolutely. We're super excited to have you, and I can't wait to hear more about this dating app. But before we get into it, we're going to do a little toast to you, Jyl, on being on Third Shot Podcast and your dating app, Pickleball Dating.
To
Pickleball Dating.
us.
To us.
Cheers.
Cheers. Mm, I got my vodka shots just like I was going to go on a date.
Is that how you start your dates?
That's, it was that is my alcohol of choice on dates when I used to date. Absolutely. It was vodka. Because you know why? This is, I have the Asian glow. When I drink, I get the Asian glow. I turn red, but less with vodka. I don't get as red with vodka. So, if I'm on a
Oh.
date, I don't want to be looking like a grapefruit or no, what? A tomato. So I go with the vodka.
I
Nice.
love it.
So, Jyl, tell us and our listeners, what is your background and how did you get started in pickleball?
So I got started in pickleball actually about 15 years ago. I run a nonprofit called Shape Up Us. We're building a healthier future for children. And one of my board members was the ambassador for Scottsdale. And he says, I'll be on your board if you bring pickleball into every school. And I went,
Wow.
done. I love it. So I didn't really play. And I mean, I went and I played, I tried, said, this is fun, but he had played inside and I'm an outdoor girl.
Mm.
So I didn't really get into it like he wanted me to. And then, and I got it into every school, and we did so many fun things with the kids in pickleball, and we've picked that up again. Now we're doing the world's largest pickleball lesson with my nonprofit, so it's so fun. And we just launched the first one November 2nd. And, I also got hired by a Medicare group, and they told me to do events. So I did all these events, but I brought pickleball in 6 different cities because that's what seniors should do, is get together and be social. And when people didn't show up, I started playing. I'm like, why aren't I playing this game? Oh my God, this is addicting. What's wrong with me? So I come back to Scottsdale and I join. We have a McDowell Mountain Ranch area where it's an association. I joined and I started just like, oh my gosh. So that's how I got involved in pickleball, and now you can't get me out of it.
Yeah, you were telling us you play 7 days a week. Like you are in.
Wow.
I'm a crazy woman. My
Dedicated.
boyfriend says wild. And I did meet my
So,
boyfriend on the court.
well, that's what
Oh.
I wanted to ask. Like, okay, tell us a little bit about that backstory.
So too fun. So we were at a pickleball one night with all of my friends, and this was not this gentleman, but another one says to me, you know, I can't date someone that doesn't play pickleball. I'm on this court 6 days a week. And my mind went ding, ding, ding. And I went home and I called my app guy. I have a couple other apps, and I called my app guy. I said, okay, can you build me a pickleball dating app? And he was like, okay, what's the game? I said, what do you mean, what's the game? And so I said, you can either be partner or you can, work for hire. What do you want? So anyway, he checked it out. I took the pickleball dating app. 2 weeks before that, I met a gentleman on the court. You'll love this story. We're playing 20-year-olds. Obviously, I'm not 20. And he's just sitting around la, 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 la land. I said, are you playing this game or not? The kids aren't any better. They're just wild. And so we ended up beating him. And he says, you want
Nice.
coffee? And I went, done. And
Really?
it's been 2 years. So I
Oh,
told
you
him,
knew immediately.
yeah.
I was telling the story earlier that my wife and I, once we started dating, I knew immediately. Like she was the one. Sometimes you just know, huh?
Yeah. Now, how'd you meet your wife? On my
We
pickleball
worked
dating
together.
app?
Not yet. No, it wasn't right for, we weren't pickleball wasn't popular 29 years ago when we started dating. So, but we worked together.
Oh, fun. I love that story. Yep.
Yeah, but Bridgie is engaged and she met her fiance on a dating app.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
It wasn't the pickleball one, but it was a dating app. We used Hinge, and so I do give kudos to the apps. I think that they can definitely work, and this one sounds super exciting.
Well, pickleball is just so social anyway, and you have so much in
Yes.
common. And I couldn't, if my boyfriend didn't play pickleball seriously, we talk about this all the time, and he plays 4 days a week. So he plays 4 days with me. And if we didn't, I would just never see him. It would be something like, I want to be on the court, and you don't get together then in the winter, you don't play till later. So you don't get off the court till 9,
Yeah, true.
So I think that you have to have a lot in common. And the cool thing is we hike together, we play pickleball together. And I was going to do after this, just a variety of apps where you hike together, golf together, because that's the secret to having fun in your relationship, is finding something you love to do together.
Absolutely.
Now, does your boyfriend play pickleball?
I haven't played with him yet. No,
Oh my gosh.
been meaning to get him out there.
And she still said yes when he asked her to marry him.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful guy, so I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Too fun, too fun. Well, we get a lot of people set up. We have this one gentleman, I think I sent you the picture of him, which is so fun. He lives in Mesa, Arizona, and he went on the app, and our app is national. So he found someone in Florida, and he went and said, I'm just going to go meet her. And he went and met her, and they're still together, and they have a house in Florida and in Arizona now.
Wow, that's
Wow.
awesome.
So, you just never know what's going to happen. It doesn't mean you have to be in the same city or town or state or anything else. It just find somebody you connect with and go have some fun. And our app is kind of fun because it's not only, yes, you can find your romance, you can find your soulmate, but you can also just find a partner for pickleball. It's
Yeah.
for singles to come in and find partners. It just depends on the app, different than other dating sites. We ask the question, what's your rating? We don't care if it's quote unquote duper rating, just, what do you think you are? Do you want to play with the same rating, or do you don't mind, you want to play with a beginner? So there's simple questions like that. Also, we have, are you recreational, or do you want to be competitive?
That's good.
So,
Yeah.
I have no desire to be competitive. To me, going to a tournament, you have to sit more than you play, and I want to play for 2 hours straight, get the exercise.
So, Jyl, I got to ask you this question about the rating thing.
Yes.
Because not that I've ever done an app, a dating app before, but I have a lot of friends, relatives that have done the dating apps, and they tell me that people will lie on their profile. They will say that they use a picture that maybe was very flattering at one time but is not them anymore, or they're telling them the stuff about their personality that's not true. So I'm thinking some people may, like, let's say I'm a 4 or 5, I might impress people, and then you get them
I've
on the
had that
court
done.
and, like, what how don't you know how to dink? Come on. What are you doing out here?
I have absolutely had that done many times.
Really?
Oh,
Even,
really?
oh yeah, I mean, not me dating, but me just, you put up a post on a park, a city park or something, say, I'm looking for a 3.54, anything above, and then they'll say, I'm that. And then they come and they're just like,
So I've got to ask, when that happens, are you the type to say something? Because in the dating world, if you go on a date and the person shows up and they're not quite as tall as what they claim to be, or maybe they look a little different, there's always that like conflict of, well, do I say something and call them out, or do I just kind of ignore it, like blow past it and just never mention it to them ever again? Where do you stand on that?
I call them out.
All right.
I call them out. Everybody says I'm not nice. I'm a pickleball player. I'm not nice.
You're a straight shooter. We can
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So do you give advice to people that are using your app, like, in situations like that or other situations? Do you give them advice like, "Okay, what's etiquette when you're meeting somebody for the first time?"
So it's really kind of fun because I am a life coach or a life guru besides the pickleball dating app. And before I started this app, one of these, a woman, a friend of mine, had one that you paid $1,500 to go on to find, your match. And I was their dating coach. So
Oh.
I took them shopping and I train and I help the mind. And so will do all that if they are interested in working with me that way as well, because that's what I do for a life. That's my
Oh,
career,
nice.
so to speak.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah,
So
so
is
it's
that
really
a part of the app? Is that advertised through the app, or do they just kind of have to reach out to you?
I'm going to do that and advertise it throughout. I have not, but I'm starting to go back to launch myself. I'm also a homeopathic practitioner, so we work with the whole person. And I want to get people, I mean, homeopathy is like so big on the pickleball courts because of arnica, which is a trauma remedy. So when you fall, people all over my court take arnica or whatever. They got a bee sting, they take something, and I carry all the little remedies. And so I educate them on the courts about homeopathy and how do you do acute care when something happens.
Now
So
you were
it's
mentioning
just,
also I'm sorry, go ahead,
no,
Joe.
go ahead. I know, I was just gonna say, it's just natural to do these things to help people automatically, like both of you do.
Well, you were mentioning earlier before we got recording that you're also doing a pickleball hub.
Yeah, so we are starting the first pickleball hub in January. It's called pickleballhub.com. And it's the first mind-body connection that we're putting together. We work with a gentleman that helps the mind, and he's got all these different courses that they can take. But we're going to take everything that has to do, we're bringing homeopathy if people want to learn that, but also we'll have all kinds of different stretching, sound bowl healings, hypnosis. I'm a hypnotist. Just all kinds of different things that the body and the mind can connect to be the best you can be on and off the court.
Wow. You're a woman of many talents.
I know, Renaissance woman.
Right?
And they all have to do with pickleball.
Well, we love that.
We do love that. Yes.
You had mentioned earlier too that you had created or developed some other apps. What's the process that goes into developing an app from scratch?
So that really isn't my expertise. I hire for an app developer, so I don't really know the back ends. I give what I'm looking for. We even create with our curriculum and different things that we do with our material and give that to him, and then we check back and forth, and then he goes to Apple and Google and launches them. So we have a homeopathic app, and I have one for my nonprofit called Clap for Health. It's clapping your hands, make you happy, healthy, and active, and it's a fundraiser for all kinds of different groups.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's a lot of fun.
So you mentioned earlier that you had this one relationship from the person in Arizona, met the woman in Florida. Tell us some of the other stories that have, or relationships that have blossomed because of pickleball dating.
Well, there is one gentleman and one of my dear friends, and I sent you a picture of that too, where she actually proposes the ring on the paddle, knee bent on the court, so kind of fun stuff like that. And I always thought there should be a wedding on the court myself.
Right?
That's the next one. It's just where do you want to go, to do it? My son got married in Santa Barbara, and the hotel where he was at had like 10 different pickleball courts. And I thought to myself, now that would be a fun place to get married.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, just make it all about pickleball. But I've set up all kinds of different, even have them join the app, and then I'll just say, okay, so-and-so meet so-and-so, you need to get together. You both play pickleball, you're both single, you both need to, have some fun. So it's been really good.
So you're active within the app where you can actually match people personally.
Well, I'll see who it is, and then I'll come and make a comment. I'll put in my 2 cents, like I said before.
So I'm curious on how the app works, because prior to my engagement, I was on apps for a very long time. So I'm kind of curious, how do you find a match on it? Is it kind of like the swipe left, swipe right situation, or do you kind of get to scroll through based off of filters?
You get to scroll through. You get to scroll through, and you get to put, hearts up if you want to like them. And, kind of just like all the other sites, you get to do all of those things. It's just geared towards pickleball.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it just
besides
makes it a
their
little
rating,
niche.
besides their
Pardon me?
rating or their level, what else do you ask for their profile?
That's pretty much it. It backs off on that. It's just really how many days do you play, if you're a serious player, and your rating, and do you want to be competitive or just recreational? And
Is a picture required?
Yes, a picture's required.
Okay. Well,
And
that's
it's really
important.
fun.
That's good.
And it's really fun because most of the people give pickleball pictures, on the court, which is really cute with their cute little outfits or their, whatever, and how they introduce it. It is just like all the other dating. It just has the niche behind it.
Gotcha.
So,
And do the users get to select if they're looking for a partner, and then you only get to see people who are also looking for just partners or a romantic partner?
no, I let them look for everything on the app because you never know what it's going to turn out to be. So
Fair.
you can think
Yeah.
you're walking in as a partner. They have to all be single, so it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
So they could think they're walking in as a partner and saying, you know, my life is busy, this, but all of a sudden they drop down from the sky. And here is that soulmate that you thought was quote unquote just a partner. So I want them to see whoever they want to see on the site. Have a good time
I just
reviewing
love
it.
this idea. Yeah, I love this idea because I mean, you meet so many people and like you said, pickleball is so social. It's more social than anything. I can't imagine like trying to date somebody I'm playing tennis with. Like you're so far away on the court, you can't talk to somebody, right? It's just different. There aren't too many other sports and you want to be with somebody that's like-minded.
Yeah.
And, once you meet somebody that's into pickleball, it's amazing how much you have in common. It really is. Like the people that love pickleball also have a lot of other interests that they, have in common. So this totally makes sense. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Thank you. And we started doing even single events. So we started I know you think I'm nuts, but we started another company called Corporate Pickleball Events.
Oh.
And so we can do singles and combine that into events, or we do employee wellness or what family events, and it just bring the pickleball out to it. But we are starting to do new locations started here in Arizona, and they want us to bring all of our single events to that location. And it's more of a bar type, food bar pickleball. But the higher up level of it all. And so they just want us to bring all the events we can that are singles to this. And I don't make packages because I don't want the drinking part of that, but because they're a restaurant, they get that part, which is fun, which is perfect.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, Uncle Greg and I were talking and we were joking and we're like, pickleball would be a great like speed dating type of event because you get introduced to so many people so fast and you kind of get to play and you get to see a fun side of them. So I'm all for those events. Bring them to Vegas, man. I think they would like take off here.
They would totally take off. So we have this one organization here at Scottsdale, and it's Scottsdale Pickleball Club. And I love it because they're 20, 30s, and 40-year-olds. And they
Okay.
play tournaments together, but they're all singles.
Okay.
And I just think it's so terrific. And they do the speed dating and they do the tournaments, and it's pure social. So they're going to partner with us and work with us with our app, because then we can help them, get that lover.
Nice, nice. So, will you personally go out and kind of facilitate these events if,
I
a
will.
club or a corporation wants to do them?
Yes, absolutely. So with my nonprofit, one of our entities is we do community fun family events, and I've been doing it for 16 years. And pre-COVID, we did 16 cities. And so this, as I mentioned, a couple weeks ago, we did one, and we had 10 courts, pickleball courts, and we brought in the largest pickleball lesson. We worked with USA Pickleball, which was tremendous. And they sent in their ambassadors to work with the kids and the adults. And it was just so much fun for them to get a pickleball in their hand. We started with 3-year-olds, and
Wow.
then we went up to 80-year-olds, 85-year-olds, and they came onto the court and just got their lesson with the ambassadors and different coaches that I had brought in that work with me and just play with me. So it was so much fun. So we're taking that to another location, 2 locations next year, possibly 5 different cities. So yes, we can come to Vegas with this. We should chat after this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got so many pickleball events lined up, and we can't wait to hear more about them as well. For the app, I'm a little curious because you had mentioned that you're growing your user base, which is great to hear. What's the current demographic of it? Like, is there a wide range of ages, variety of people throughout the US?
So most of them are 40 and above. We do get 40 and above. We have 4,000 viewers right now. It's only $10 to come on for a month because we're gathering, base to come in and meet more people. We are starting a program which is great. So any listeners that want to join an ambassadors program, you can be ambassador in your city or your state, and you actually get a percentage when somebody comes in to join us, just to promote the health of it and really the health mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually because of coming in and meeting. I know I played pickleball over COVID. It saved me. I just went out and we all played outside and pretty much daily, same thing. So that's what we do. I mean, the stories we hear about pickleball, how it saved them, or they met someone, or just they're so touching that we want to continue to help doing that through events and through the app.
That's cool. That's cool. We've heard a lot of stories as well of like mental health, struggles, and pickleball, really helps them through that.
Right. There's nothing better at the end of the day to go out and let your frustrations over a ball, and playing with friends that you love. So you're laughing out loud, which there's no better healing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I am extremely competitive. So that makes it fun. And and the dating app is just another, what I call tool in the toolbox to meet someone fun. And your audience is more than welcome to reach out to me. It's JYL Pickleball Dating at gmail.com. And Jyl is just JYL Pickleball Dating at gmail.com. And just reach out and say, I want more information about being an ambassador, getting involved, or being part of this. I'm all over. Call me directly. How can I best support you, serve you, and make your life better?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can only imagine like with other dating apps, Brigie, you'll have to tell me on this. With other dating apps, once you meet somebody and it didn't quite work out, you probably never really want to see them again. Right?
Yeah,
Most
that
of
is
the
a
time, you
problem.
probably don't want to see them. With pickleball dating, I could see that you meet, you play pickleball together, maybe romantically it doesn't work out, but you probably still want to play pickleball with them.
That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is interesting that you bring that up, because I always say the pickleball community where you are is really small and a lot of talk. It's like a little town.
Yeah.
And so when I started dating my boyfriend, they were all like, one guy came up over the net and he just looked at us directly and he says, "Are you like together? Or are you just together?" And Matt grabs me and he's like, "We're together." But it was funny because he didn't really know, how that played out off the pickleball court, and,
Right.
where we really, and friends would always say to me, "Well, are you still with him? Or are you not with him? Are you still play?" But we would play, is it romantic or just play, or what is it? And so you could do all the above.
Yeah,
And that's what's cool
exactly. Yeah.
too. You can be
How
friends
fun.
after, especially once you've played with them a lot. They're a good partner because they know your moves.
Right.
You don't really want to give that up. You worked hard for that.
Right.
That's
So,
awesome. Well, it sounds
so,
like you've got yourself a great app for our listeners. If they wanted to download it, where can they find it?
yep, just pickleballdating.net. For
Perfect.
the app is Pickleball Dating. For the website, pickleballdating.net. They can go either way.
Perfect. For
Yeah.
all the singles out there that are looking for that special person that has the same interest, pickleball, that we all love, I think this is just a wonderful way of meeting somebody. And since you have so many, eligible singles out there and it keeps growing, I think this is just the beginning for you, Jyl.
Oh, thank you. It's so exciting. And we also do, just so your audience know, we do sponsorships. So you can come in and sponsor the Pickleball Dating. We have some tremendous amount of sponsors, and we love that because then we can give back to them, and people see them all the time. We just went yesterday to the Open in Arizona, and it was so fun just, looking at all the wonderful companies that support pickleball. and want to be part of this community. And then,
Right.
of course, watching these pros was incredible.
Yeah. They do some amazing things on the courts.
They do. And then you
And
go off the
there's
court
been
and
some
try it.
relationships that have developed in the pro ranks as well.
Well,
Very
it's
true.
interesting you say that, because when they were playing, I would look at Mac and I would just say, do you think they're boyfriend, girlfriend? Do you think they met on the court? Do you think they're together? You know, because they played so well, or they, tapped the paddle, or they, did the right things, but was it really more?
Right. Right.
So that I would love to have a study of that. You met on the court, you're pros, and now what is it really?
Well, I know there's at least one married couple that is a pro pickleball mixed doubles team. There's a number of other teams that I know have dated, if not are currently dating. And I just wonder, if they break up, does that mean the mixed doubles team breaks up too?
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
hopefully not, as I say, because they've learned each other's moves so well.
Right.
So they need to stick together, especially if they're pro. But it's tough, we know how that goes.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Well,
well, please share with all your friends,
we will.
pickleballdating.net and Pickleball Dating, and come on and join
Absolutely.
us and have some fun, meet the love of your life, the soulmate, or just a fun pickleball player.
Sounds like a plan. Let's take another third shot toast.
Love it.
Yes.
Oh, Brigie's pouring.
I got
Here
to
we go.
report. Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's do it,
Jyl.
guys. Cheers. To
Thank you
meeting,
so much.
to connecting on the court.
Absolutely. Yes. Build those relationships.
Yes. Thank you both very much. This was a ton of fun. I
Thank
love what you're
you.
doing and getting out into the community. So thank you for all that you do.
We love what you're doing for the community. This is taking it to the next level. So thank you.
We'll
And
meet
we
again
appreciate
and see how it goes.
in person. We're gonna meet.
I
Yep.
love it. And yes,
Yeah,
I'd
either
love to
you're
come
coming up to the
Vegas.
Bay Area or Vegas, or we're coming down to Arizona.
It's a pickleball date.
It's a date. Put it on the calendar. And for all of you listening, thank you for joining us on Third Shot. We really appreciate, and Brigie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. Real special thanks to Jyl for joining us today. If you want to meet somebody who loves pickleball and is looking for a partner, go to pickleballdating.net or download the Pickleball Dating app. I think this is the way. I really do. I think this is the way to meet other pickleball people that, are looking for love. So go do it. And you can support this show by subscribing. We promise to have more amazing guests just like Jyl on future episodes of Third Shot. So let's continue to enjoy this game and grow the pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.